Hello! RunCam Split, take two. This time I've got a new skew, thanks to AKK for replacing that for me, the last one that flew off. And this is bolted down really well, so it won't move now. So let's first see how this does as like a proper flight. Do we still get the jello? Is there a problem? Okay, that still had jello, so let's think more about the mounting. Now, at this point you might be thinking, hey, I've seen these RunCam splits and other people don't have problems with them, so why aren't you balancing up this quad properly? Well, I could spend more time on the props, I could check the motors out okay, I could do some extra fine tuning and stuff, but I'm not going to do it for two reasons. Firstly, I've come from a situation where it's flying pretty smoothly on the CCD, so why should I have to fiddle about and do more with it? Also, it could be the fact that, you know, I'm getting a prop strike and I still want it to fly okay. I might have to replace props. Can I really be doing with balancing prop after prop after prop when they're not lasting that long? And you know, what happens if we get a very slight motor bearing wear and stuff? Is it just going to go back to looking crap again? So I'd prefer to spend more effort seeing if I can get the mounting working better rather than setting the quad up and having this as is. So what I've done, I bought these little rubber washers to try and sort out the Lizard 95, but the Lizard's flying absolutely fine with new props. So what I've done is I've popped these in between the mounting, so this has got a little bit movement there, and I'm hoping that little bit of movement might just absorb some of those fine vibrations. So let's try it again and see what happens.
So here's the resulting flight with those little dampeners in, and it's not bad, although it's not a bright day, and that tends to mean it kind of acts as an ND filter. But you know, I can still see wobbles, and I could certainly see it in my live feed. So what I did then, I landed and I tried a couple of tuning profiles out, and this was the result, and I can't really see any difference. It was just playing with the D and the P. So loads of people went on about moving to 3.2. So I did. I moved to 3.2 release candidate 5, and I did the dynamic filtering and turned off the notch filter or whatever it was. And this is the result. So then I really went for it and decided to tune. I landed loads of times in multiple batteries and tuned and tuned and tuned. I tried, you know, various different things trying it out, but I kind of felt like there was only so much I could do in these batteries because you don't get much of an instant response. So here's the result from that various tuning through various days, and again, it's, you know, it's not really bad, but it's not up to the quality I'm wanting from it. So I then set up my radio to do the sort of dynamic tuning, if you like, so I can do the adjustments while flying, and this let me do really quite large changes. I just wanted to see what would influence things, so I did big changes on the P, the I and the D on everything, and I changed the props as well to these 50-40 free-bladed, thinking they'd be smoother, and the result was, yeah, they're smoother on low throttle, but as soon as you go high throttle they don't seem to cope very well. And it seems like 2600 kV motors and these 50-40s, I think these are King Kongs, they just go into this wobble thing at high RPM, and this resulted in a prop actually blowing apart. So it went completely, I had the prop nut still on there and just no prop, which was bizarre, and at this point I became a bit fed up.
So this brings us back up to today, and here it is in its last configuration as it flew, and this is where this turns into more of a work in progress video, because it's like, here's what I did, it didn't really make a difference, and I think if I feel these motors, it's not quite even in the way they feel, so perhaps that little jitter is coming from the motor, and it's a bit of a shake, and in a CCD camera it's not really too noticeable. In this CMOS sensor it will wobble about. So I'm giving up on this frame as far as this goes, because I've done a lot of batteries trying to get this right, and I'm not having much fun with it. I'm going out with other things, and I'm doing a couple of batteries on this, and I'm thinking, oh, that's still not right, and going back and flying other stuff. But I prefer to just get my Microswift back in here and have some fun flights on it. So I'll look for another platform that this can fit in that's already a much smoother fly. So the stuff from my last video still kind of fits, and it's kind of reminiscent of when I looked at the Sparrow, which is, it is a CMOS sensor. CMOS sensors don't like little wobbles. They turn into massive jello when you get little movements, and that is still the case with this one. So it's a brilliant idea having a recording camera that also works with your FPV camera, although I still don't really like the feed from it, but it's okay, you can cope with it. But yeah, if you get some wobbles, it looks absolutely crap. So if you've got anything less than a really smooth flying quad, don't bother, is what I would say. But if you've got a really smooth quad and you don't want to put a GoPro on and you want to fit something in, and you know, latency is not super critical because it is higher latency than a CCD, then give this a go. But as I say this, and I still haven't got this working on the RunCam Split, the RunCam Split 2 is already available for pre-order. And I do notice they put some little rubber dampeners on the board here, and they're fixing the power input, so you don't have to just have pure 5 volts anymore, which is good. A little evolution, but nothing amazing. It's certainly not going to fix the problems that are inherent with the CMOS sensor, which is it needs dampening if there's any movement. But I'll put it on something else and get on with still trying to make this give me some smooth video. But in the meantime, this is going back to fun flying and chasing around. But I will make that RunCam Split smooth on the right quad. I just got to perhaps modify a couple of things to make it fit in there. I will get that done eventually, but for now, I will catch you next time. Bye.